Good morning and welcome to the Wallet to Wealth Female Entrepreneur Interview Series. I'm Whitney Hammond, and in support of Halton Women's Place, From Wallet to Wealth is a brand I created to speak to women to help mentor, educate, and inspire women to leading more empowered lives. Our November 12th event, it's this week. All of the planning for months. This Thursday night, many women have their tickets. Thank you, thank you. There's still time to get tickets. We are raising, our goal is $30,000 for Halton Women's Place, and we are 25, getting close to 26. So we're almost there. So ladies, if you can't attend, jump in and put a small donation in there, or a large donation, that's fine. Or put an auction, there's an auction that you can buy some awesome things at a really good price, or join us this Thursday night. So we have, you'll hear 5 empowering main stage speakers. We also have some other speakers, but we have 5 empowering female entrepreneur speakers who will be sharing how they found advantage in their adversity. So these are super women. These are super ladies that are standing up to show other women how they did it in their lives. And November is Women's Abuse Prevention Month. So it all ties in together. And what we find is that abuse is in a cycle. So what children see when they're growing up is what they do when they're older. So let's help to break that cycle, and let's help women to win, to rise up together. So be part of our group. And last thing I just wanted to say is that your ticket is 100% tax deductible as a charitable receipt. So because we have no food, your complete ticket price goes immediately to Halton Women's Place, and the tickets are $75. And of course you can pay more, and we've had many people pay more. So thank you very, very much. And we've created an awesome community of friends. So today, we have a super ambitious lady, and I'm very excited to have seen her come through my Facebook pages. I think it's really good. So this lady here, she loves to help entrepreneurs build their business. This is really important. So much so that owning one tax office wasn't enough, and now she owns 2 tax offices, specializing in customized solutions for small to mid-sized businesses, to now owning another office that focuses in the entertainment field businesses. I'm really happy to introduce Kelly Ross of Tax Pro Services and Ross Professional Corporation. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm going to really enjoy this talk, because I'm the one that's always pushing business owners. The more you can know, the more you're going to make, and the more wealthier you're going to become. You need to have this piece. It's not just about filing your tax return. So we're just going to jump into a few questions here. So we want to get a little window into who is Kelly before we get into your business. So recently we've been talking about generational messages. We've been talking about societal messages and how they can create limiting beliefs for us. So a lot of those messages come from society, or they come from our parents. Did you want to share on how that's what your experience has been with that?
Sure. So for myself, I consider myself very, very lucky that I had a strong woman in the house as I was growing up, being my mother. She was very career oriented. She very much knew what she wanted out of life. She wanted to be there for us as kids, but also she wanted to have a career of her own. And that was something that really drove me and got me into the business world. She was in the accounting field herself, which is probably where I ended up getting there myself, and ended up being very well with numbers. And I have a love for them. Some people think I'm crazy and numbers drive them nuts. Me, myself, I get excited when there's numbers involved. But one of the things I've got to say is in the time that my mom was growing up, and in the time I was growing up, there was a lot of limits that were still around, and how far women could go up the ladder. And watching this happen with my mom, I think drove me to go even further. So even myself, when I started off in my own career, I started working for other people. I was in a Big 4 accounting firm. I went into industry, And yes, you cap out at a certain point in time in those companies, because that's just where a lot of times women with families, as you're having kids, people start to judge that, you know, when you start to have children, then all of a sudden they're going to become the focus and your career kind of takes a back seat. So because of that, a ceiling kind of gets created there. And that was something that I wasn't happy with, and it drives me to be a better person, and it gets me going and tells me and myself deep within, okay, I can do better than this, and what can I do for that? And that's when I went off on my own.
I love it. I love it. That's just so important. So the message that you heard when you were growing up, instead of you accepting it, you said, no, I'm going to break through that ceiling. And it's true. It's really important for people that are watching to understand is that don't take those messages. It's the same as me. I mean, I'm in a male dominated industry for 25 years, and I was told 35 years ago that I couldn't do this business, and it took me 10 years to break through and say I'm going to do it. And it's the best thing I ever did. The freedom of being able to be your own person and create your own outcomes in life. It's just yeah, with no boss on top of you except yourself. We're hard enough on ourselves. We don't need somebody else.
Probably even harder than anybody else could be.
Plus, you and I have regulatory bodies on top of us. So we got a lot of rules to follow, so we get that. So, so I love it. So this leads me to the next question. So it sounds like you've really become aligned. So with, you know, so the disadvantage, I guess, if you want to call it a disadvantage of working in a corporate office, to realizing that, hey, I don't really think this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm not really aligned with who I am as a human being, what my belief patterns are. So tell us about how that brought you, I mean, to this advantage that where you've been able to align yourself now with a authentic life, and also you have a great vibe.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, and I gotta say, it's not even just the ceiling that was kind of holding me back from wanting to stay where I was too. I found it was also that it limited me from being able to give my clients what I really wanted to. So it stopped the amount of time I was allowed to spend on clients talking through their different things. It was very compliance oriented. And that's not something I believe gives the most value to my clients. One of the things that I love to do is I love to practice what I preach, and I love to give those same things to each one of those people that I work with. I am behind them all the way. I celebrate every win along with them. I probably sometimes have more tears in my eyes than they do when they reach a milestone, because to me, that's what's important. It's you breaking those ceilings. It's you reaching those goals that you didn't think you could have initially had when you first went out to it. So for me, that's so important. And I get so excited with my clients that way.
Yeah.
So
you're like a personal CFO, and you're coaching them. So I know for sure what you focus on is what you get in life. So if you have you're small to mid-sized business owner, and I just remember Tony Robbins saying, years ago, I was at one of his business mastery events, and he said, what's the average income of a business owner? And it was $50,000. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
yeah.
Because a business owner is practically working 24 hours a day. When they're sleeping, they're still thinking about their business.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that? Why would the income be so low? And it's got to be because they're not focusing on the numbers. You got to keep your eye on that dial. And to be able to have your own accountant to help you to understand the strategies of, if you do this and this and this is actually how you make more money. This is how you pay less tax. This is how people get rich, right? So so that's really awesome. So tell us about the 2 businesses that you've built in accounting.
Well, so I started off initially with the whole aspect of let me get to those business owners specifically. And I opened up the business in Oakville, and it's very much focused on every industry. It's not specialized at all. I needed to figure out which industries specifically kind of spoke to me, and we'll get to that in a second. But in Oakville, we really specialize on any business owner. Doesn't matter what kind of industry you're in. We will help you achieve those various goals and talk through how we can get you where your ceiling is, and let's break through it and get you further along the way. It doesn't mean you have to give up what you've been standing for and what you believe in. It just means that we can actually open open that door more so you can do more of what you love, but also bring the profit in for you too. And there's so many ways we can do that. And for everybody, it's something different. I don't use a cookie cutter approach. That's one of the things my clients will always tell you. There's always multiple options on the table, and we figure out the one that works best for them. Then through all of that, so while I do have a mom who's very much in the accounting industry, my dad's actually on the other side of the brain. He's more of he was always a musician. There was always music going through the house. I was a dancer when I was young. I played piano, I played trumpet. And so when this opportunity came up about this gentleman, Brian, who was going to be retiring in Toronto with his accounting practice in the arts and entertainment industry, it just called to me. And we got talking, and you know what? People think I was crazy when I did this in the middle of COVID, but you know what? You don't walk away from the opportunities when they come up. It doesn't matter what's going on. You just got to go with it. You got to go with your heart. You got to go with your gut. And when you do, you know what? The impossible happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you. And you just implemented a really nice succession plan for another human being.
Yep.
That's a fabulous idea, is to buy another person's practice, because the goodwill's already there. Is he staying for a bit, or did he?
He is. He's a great guy. We've been actually making calls to clients together, Zoom calls we've been having to show them that the transition's happening. He's going to still be around till the end of the year, even into January and February, to help with transitioning stuff as it's coming for this year end. And even after that, he's already told me that I can always pick up the phone and call him anytime, which is wonderful.
That's seamless. You've created a scene. And here's the thing too that I love about this is that there's two ways of learning things in life, right? One of them is reading a book, and being able to talk about it, from an intellectual point of view. And then there's the people that have actually done it. So succession planning is something that I do in my business. It's obviously something that you've done in your business, but I've done the same as you. Like I've done succession. I've bought businesses and done this, and you've done the same thing. So, who better to talk to than, like, we know the right way to do it, whether it's an asset purchase, whether it's a share purchase, the goodwill, that, like, there's a lot that goes through it. And so, we probably read that in our books and our education some time ago, but until we actually lived it and did it, it's like, come to us, because we can tell you the caveats. We can tell you what can happen, what's really good about it, and what may not be good about it, and is it a good fit for you. But I am a strong, huge believer that if you are in a business and somebody else is getting ready to retire and they are in the same business, jump on that business, but talk to a professional like Kelly, who can say, to help you line that up. It's worth it to have that conversation, because the pitfalls, and that the bonuses that can come out of it, and ultimately the client wins. Because if it's a good fit, obviously it's a good fit. And that's what really popped up with you when I saw that you'd bought the business, and I saw that announcement come through Facebook. I thought, oh my God, like, I want to meet this woman. I love what she's doing. So what next? So tell us about what your next plans are, and who can come to you. What's your target market? What type of people are you looking for in the Oakville office and also in the Toronto office?
So what's next for me is more, I've actually just taken on something really big. So this is where I'm going to be for a little while. So we're going to have some fun in this area for a little bit, but at the same time, for me, there's never a ceiling. I continue to plan to grow. Where life takes me, a lot of that, I can't tell you today, it's going to change tomorrow, but I can tell you it's going to grow, and I can tell you we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. And one of the big things that I'm a big believer in is giving back. So that's one of those things that I'm going to make sure that there's going to be opportunities that I'm looking for on ways I can give back. So that's to my communities, to those people who have been supporting me all along the way, as well as those who maybe haven't been a part of my life, but are really in need and need some of that support. So I'm going to be looking for different ways I can do that as well. So as far as Oakville goes itself, that practice, as I mentioned before, it isn't specialized. So the only specialization we're really into is those business owners and helping them succeed and help them grow and get the fulfillment that I'm really getting these days. So I'd really love to see that in each of them. And as I mentioned, for me, the win is when I watch them reach those different milestones that they never thought they could achieve. For me, that's like the best feeling in the world. So I love that. And then my Toronto office is very much specialized in the arts and entertainment industry. So I'm going to be really helping a lot of those people through. Right now, we're working through a lot of measures. They've had a pretty good hit as far as especially those who are in the theater industry, the live entertainment industry, because those industries still are not back. The actors and stuff, they're back out there now, which is great. So they're starting to work again. But I'm here to support along the way with everybody. That's one of the biggest things that I've been doing out of both offices. Not the huge income generating activities for me during this time, because this is my time to give back to those people and really help them through these really hard times. So I'm here for all of my clients and any new clients and anybody who needs the help, even those who probably will never even be clients. I'm happy to help anybody get through these hard times because it's tough for everybody.
That's awesome. You have a huge giving heart. And I think that anybody that aligns with you, again, it's that energy of profitability. I mean, because you know, it doesn't always work this way with accounting. It's just like you just drop the stuff in, it's the compliance gets done, the tax return gets done, you get your bill or whatever, and there isn't anybody to sit down and explain, you know, how to build a ratio model, like how do we turn this around so we can get some profits, like are we charging enough money for our service? It's I think that I just know for me, when I sat down 35 years ago, when I started into business, the best thing I ever did, and so I'm going to shout this one from the rooftops till the day I die, but the best thing I ever did was I sat down with an accountant for about 4 hours, and we talked hardcore accounting principles. And I took that and I built and developed wealth that I mean, systematically, and with all of those accounting principles. But I kept going. I mean, people don't have to do this, but I learned and studied so many different things, that there's so many creative things that you can do with your tax planning, with holding companies, with rollovers, all sorts of strategies that build wealth that people don't know about. And so you may not be at that level if you're watching this, but the thing is, you will become to this level. And this is why you would go to somebody like Kelly, because she's going to take you to that level. And I just have to say, for me, I was not taken to that level with my accountant. I had to go to him all those years ago. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I'm sure that this is the experience of many other people. Here's a woman who says, you don't have to come and tell me that you want to develop wealth and that you want to develop retained earnings and profitability. She's going to help you to do that. So I've got your back, and I'd love to send all sorts of people to come and see you. So I'm going to give you the last say here. Anything that you want to say? Oh, just before I turn that over to you, I wrote this down. I love what you said. You work with your clients to find the ceiling and then break through that ceiling. I mean, that value is, that's just massive value. So I love what you offer. So over to you.
Thank you. Well, a lot of that comes from just, quite frankly, from the achievements that every goal I've ever met has been because I broke through some sort of ceiling at some point in time, a ceiling that I thought always existed. And I went to the next level because I broke through that ceiling. So I'm always looking for that for my clients. And I think it's so important that you realize that that ceiling doesn't have to exist. You can keep breaking through it. There doesn't ever have to be one ever at any point in time. Even for myself, I catch myself sometimes creating a ceiling again. And I'm like, no, that ceiling's not there. Forget it. We can break through that. Doesn't have to be one. It never has to stop. So I really do encourage everybody, whether you're a client of mine or not, like, find out where that ceiling is and forget about it. Break through it. Yeah. There's one way further up ahead, and then break through that too. Just keep going, keep going. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do something, and don't ever tell yourself you can't do something, because you can do way more than you believe you can. You just need
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you've got all my votes. So for somebody who's been in business for 35 years, my recommendation is to spend the time with an accountant that will actually work with you and let the compliance side will get done through her office. That's a given. That's the easy part. There's lots of people to do that job, but there's not that many that will sit and actually do that creative planning with you to help get you to the next level and help you to understand the things that a lot of people hate is they hate accounting. I don't, I love it. So okay, well, thank you so much, Kelly. And I really look forward to working with you in the future and, doing cases back and forth. That's really exciting. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you again.
Happy to be here. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.